What's up, guys? Back for another Starro video, and this is the budget team build for the current MOC. Now I'm going to be fully 100% with you. This one is probably going to be the least budget out of most of the videos I do. Unfortunately, this one is kind of hard. Now it comes from a few things. One, Hoolay hits incredibly hard many times over and is very, very tanky, meaning you have to have characters that can actually survive the hits long enough to kill him, and you have to have units that kill him fast enough. So with that combination, obviously having a budget character team is going to be a bit rough. Now what doesn't help is that the buff is that they have exo toughness, which is like a second toughness bar. This is great for break characters, right? And then their actions are delayed by 30% after their weakness broken, and then you get hits, and it's pretty much just does a bunch of damage at the end of the wave. Now what is unfortunate is that the damage happens at the start of a wave. So if, let's say, you are about to get under 20 cycles and the boss has like 10% HP left, and the buff from the MOC would kill them, it would go into the 19th cycle, and then it would activate and killing him. This is very unfortunate because if it activate at the end of the cycle, you'd actually get the clear in time. So that's working against you. Plus, Hoolay reacts really fast after he is weakness broken because he has action advance, all this sort of stuff. He summons characters. It is pretty rough. So to find a balance between all that is kind of hard, especially because if you're trying to take advantage of the weakness break stuff, he is weak to physical, fire, and wind. And unfortunately, the wind characters are a bit lacking. It's Don Hang Sampo, so that's a bit rough. What I normally like to do in these videos is I will use support characters as premium characters. So like, let's say, for example, I need a DPS. Let's just say I pick Don Hang, and then for the support, I will pick let's just do Robin, right? And this is how I normally would structure it. Instead of doing something like Fei Zhao into, I know Tingyun doesn't work, but we'll just say Tingyun, right? These are both technically budget in a sense, but most people will probably have a support over a DPS. Now, what is unfortunate, like I said, is you have to find a good balance for Hoolay. Luckily, the first one is pretty easy with a few teams, so that one's not really an issue. The issue is Hoolay himself. Now, I'm going to show you guys 4 different teams I use, technically 5 actually, because there is a run. I might include it, I might not, so I will show it really quickly, just in case I don't end up editing it in. The first team I used was Himiko, Ruanmei, Harmony MC, and Gallagher, the Super Break Himiko team. And for the second team, I used Fei Zhao, March, Mose, and then Huohuo. Right now, unfortunately, the second team ended up dying at one point, and I think I had 4 cycle left, and he was about at what 70% HP. Well, we'll see. If I add it, you'll see the HP. I don't know if the team would have been able to clear fast enough because I was lagging a bit behind. But after I ended up losing twice, I kind of just gave it up. But the first team did clear pretty quickly. This is pretty much just for if I don't show it at the end. But the other teams, well, one of them is not so budget. It's hard to find a balance because there's so many attempts that I did where I'd either end up dying because I'm trying to use a sustain that just can't sustain enough, or I don't use a 5-star DPS, or I don't use one with their light cone. It was a rough balance. Unfortunately, in this video, I don't take advantage of using any of the 4-star healers. Natasha, well, besides Gallagher, Natasha and Lynx are just not strong enough for Hoolay. You really do need a 5-star sustain, so keep that in mind if you are using 4-star sustains like Gallagher, and then you're just using like Natasha or Lynx for the other one. You really do need a sustain. Obviously, the best one is a Manchurian, but I'm trying to stay away from using him. I do use him on one of the runs just because the team needed a bit more at DPS, but for healers to be good, you really do need a healer that is contributing to the team in a way that is just not healing, right? Like Huohuo boosts energy and attack, Venturing does damage, Fushuan boosts crit rate and can do a little bit of damage with their ult. Not really going to be too relevant in this one, but it is something. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for the video. Let's cut over to the actual gameplay where I talk over there. And don't forget to like and subscribe as always, and leave a comment on what teams you use, if this helped you out in any way, shape, or form. I'll probably say it in the cut off when we actually show the gameplay, but just to make sure, obviously. Alrighty, so normally I don't talk over my own gameplay and I actually just let it rock as I'm doing it real time. However, this MOC proved to be pretty damn hard, so it pretty much consisted of me just throwing a bunch of stuff at it until it just worked, right? Now there was trial and error, so when you use these teams yourself, you probably are going to have to do a few runs. There's many times where I've actually died due to either getting hit with DOT from the first enemies. Shout out to the Chalice asshole. He's going crazy right now. You can see, hate that guy so much. There's times where Hoolay was the one to take me down. It's rough, right? It's rough. And now the first team right here is going to be Asta, Ruin May, Harmony MC, and Gallagher, as you're currently seeing. This team actually was kind of fun to use, right? Because I originally wanted to use Himiko for the second phase. I never ended up getting it to work with a budgety team. It was either Himiko wasn't doing enough damage or she just needed a little bit more oomph for more characters. I try to keep this somewhat limited to mostly 4 stars if I can, or free characters, but this one really just pushed how budgety I could really get with it, whether it be through using light cones that some people might not normally have, or using too many premium 5 stars on a team. It was just rough. It's really rough. Now, luckily, this phase is pretty simple, so as long as you have somewhat built super break team, you're pretty much going to clear it. Asta was insanely helpful. I will have the builds to all my units at the very end. Of same thing with the second part of this video, when we have the other 2 teams at the very end, it'll show all my relics, their traces, their levels, obviously, the eidolons and all that. So if you're wondering where that is, you'll pop over. I don't know if there'll be timestamps on this video because YouTube kind of does it themselves sometimes, so I don't have to. They do it pretty well. I think it was the last budget team. It was intro, boss battle, which I thought was really funny because apparently the boss battle was, I think it was pure fiction, actually. I think it was pure fiction. It was boss battle was the first one, and then battle was the second one. No, it was apocalyptic shadow. It was fantastic. Yeah. It was really funny, right? Because they're like, oh, why is the first one boss battle, but the second one just a battle? Anyway, so hopefully YouTube will do that for me. If not, I'll just do it myself after I probably go to sleep after recording this. Hopefully I don't take too many attempts at this because this video is pretty damn long, as it is 2 whole runs. Now I don't know how I'm gonna edit this. I might, like, as I'm talking, there might just be a second team doing it on the bottom. It depends on how it looks. If it looks ugly, I'm probably not going to do it. More than likely it'll just have the initial team up, and then if you don't have the units, you can just skip to it. I believe I talked about this in the intro. Obviously, this team can also work with Himiko. Now, some people have said that they don't have Himiko, and that's completely understandable. Himiko is just a good budget choice to pick because, like I said, it really depends on what you have. So I try to pick characters that more than likely most people are going to have. That's hence why I used supports and free or 4-star DPSs, because most people are like, okay, everyone says Ruin May and Robin are extremely good. You probably summon for Ruin May and Robin. Obviously, you can summon for your favorites, but I'm assuming most people are going to have Ruin May or Robin over someone like Boot Hill, right? And luckily, Asta is free. Ruin May is one of those good supports. Gallagher is a 4-star who's been free multiple times, and then Harmony MC is completely free. Now, this team is actually such a godsend. I'm so happy that they made Harmony MC free, and then it just synergy just works out, right? Now, for terms of light cones, even though I will show it later, Harmony MC and Asta are running Dance, and I'm pretty much just abusing that. Now, both of them are going to be S5, which can be a bit rough. You can probably still get it done if you don't have both at S5, but you definitely need to have both of them and just spam them as much as possible to save as much time. Now, I'm not a huge fan of these guys right here. mostly because, as you can see, they can imply debuffs, so they hit the wrong character, and there's a bit of RNG to it, but hopefully you guys just get really lucky, and you either effect res it, or you can cleanse it, or they activate it, and then they hit the character to wake them up. It might take a few tries, but luckily, even if you get to Hoolay and end up messing up, you can reset to begin the fight. I think I might do that at one point in this video, or the next one where I mess up initially and then I just restart at the beginning. I'm just leaving that in because I think it's funny, right? I'm not sure where that's at though. But as you can see, Harmony MC is just, kind of carrying. He's kind of the DPS of the team, funny enough. That's just how strong his super break function is. Asta still is functioning as a support DPS, same with Gallagher as a sort of healer DPS. This team really only works because of how super break operates. If super break was anything different, it probably wouldn't work, but thankfully it is an absolutely busted mechanic, and I can't wait for there to be a 5-star character that does super break as well, because the ability to run this team on both halves would be insane. I could probably get shout out to Norton for popping on my screen mid-sentence, thank you. I could probably get a super break team going on both sides and clear it pretty free to play, or sorry, budgety, if we had a 5-star super break character. Now, we're on to the second one. We did clear it in 4 cycles. Very important that you make sure that your first team isn't going over the 5-cycle count, right? Because you have to clear it in 20 cycles. Hoolay is way, way harder to kill and way tankier than the first half. Now, this team is going to be Ratio, Venturin, Robin, and Moze. Now, originally, I didn't want to use Venturin. I even say in I think the original MOC video that I was going to try to not use him. However, this team just needed a bit more help doing a bit more damage. I think healing wise, I used Fushuan and I got close to the very end. I think Fushuan, no, I think it was Ratio ended up dying, but I also noticed that I wasn't doing enough damage. Venturin, while doing damage with his ultimate and his counters, is also increasing crit damage, so it's just a little bit more of an oomph damage-wise. Obviously, if you have E1 Robin, then you wouldn't really have to worry about that too much because that's going to be a massive buff. Also, my Moze is only E2, so you have E6 Moze, then you'll be doing even more damage there. That'll probably be extremely helpful with this run. Now, the reason I'm using Moze and not March is because Moze actually applies a debuff to the enemy, unlike March, which Ratio definitely needed. I tried to do a Ratio March team, and oh good lord, Ratio wouldn't follow up attack at all. It was so brutal, and I just had to go with Moze. While I'm not a huge fan of Moze, I definitely wish he did more damage, which would be remedied if I actually pulled 4 more copies of him. Shout out to my luck on that banner. I just had to bring him. I had to bring him for the debuff because if Ratio missed like 1 or 2 follow-ups, it was just GG, bro. It is just GG. Just try again next time, reset. And I'm already, I think, 5 teams into this. I tried March Moze, I tried Fei Jiao Moze, March, I tried Super Break on this team. I tried, well, Super Break Himiko. Then I tried normal Himiko. I tried Clara, which I've seen Clara runs, right? However, mine doesn't have the best build, and this first half is absolutely brutal towards her. I really wish I could use Yunli, because Yunli is just such a good option. If you have her, I recommend using her on this one. She will absolutely decimate it. Same with Boot Hill, but unfortunately, most people don't have Yunli or Boot Hill. They're probably one of the 2 least summoned characters in the game, at least from what I've seen from like statistics of different websites or communities. She's one of the most least summoned. Same with Boot Hill, which is kind of unfortunate. I'm really hoping we get a 4-star character that implants weakness, because bro, Hoolay being weak to physical, fire, and wind, and then the initial enemies not being weak to physical is so brutal, bro. I think I slightly mentioned it in the intro, or at least I should. But Wind doesn't really have a lot of 4-star options. And 5-star options, we got Black Swan, Blade, and Fei Zhao. And I don't have Blade, so that's out of the table instantly. Black Swan isn't exactly the most insane DPS I've ever seen. She's more of a supporting sub DPS. And then Fei Zhao, while an option, obviously I don't like to use the 5-star premium characters. And then we got Fire, where it's like Firefly, okay, Ballad. And then Himiko. There's actually just a crazy lack of fire DPSs, and I really didn't notice it. Well, I noticed it before, but I really am like learning it again, I guess. And we really just need more fire DPSs. Most of them are like Gallagher, which is a healer slash like break DPS. We have Asta, which is a support. We have, who am I forgetting? Himiko. I just realized since I'm nothing on the screen, I can actually just pull it up really quick while this is going. But yeah, as you can see, Hoolay does attack a ton. Venturing is by far the best sustain for this. Fushuan and Ho-Ho can clear this as well. So if you don't have Venturing, you can try using Ho-Ho and Fushuan to, you know, fill in his slot. But I'm not going to guarantee you that they're actually going to clear it. It is very, very rough. Now, fire, yeah, okay, we have Topaz. Yeah, Topaz, Linkshia, Hook, Fire MC. We have Jiaoqiu. So it's really, in terms of normal DPSs that aren't break related, it's really just Topaz. And she's more like a support sub DPS, right? You can make her main DPS, but yeah, we do really need a crit rate, crit damage, fire DPS. Hopefully we get that sometime soon. I wouldn't hold my breath, honestly, but even a 4-star would be kind of nice. Hopefully, though, we have a better passive next time we fight Hoolay, so we don't have to worry about actually breaking him so much in terms of just actually killing him. But yeah, as you can see, Ratio and Venturin are going absolutely crazy. I'm so happy that I got E2 Mo's. Holy crap, actually a lifesaver in this. If you don't have E2 Mo's, he might not work out too well in this one. Unfortunately, you really do need all the damage you can get. Luckily, I don't have anything crazy like I E6 Robin or anything, right? I always find it funny how people are like, oh, zero cycle. Not saying the videos are bad, right? This isn't jab. I just always find it funny how it's like, oh, zero cycle. It's like, all right, sick. And then you look at the team, it's like E6 Robin. You're like, oh, well, that makes sense, right? Not saying it's a bad video, which is funny to me, right? Normally when I see like zero cycle being the highlight of the video, I'm like, okay, they probably used like maybe a more niche team like Luca or something, and that's like super crazy. But then it's just like, yeah, all my characters are E6, S5. It's like, okay, well, I'm not shocked you got a zero cycle then. But yeah, pretty much wrapping it up here. Now, a really cool thing with Robin, especially as you can see on the screen here, is if you really time her ult and somewhat get lucky to have enough energy, right before a cycle ends, she will stop singing and then you can ult again. Extremely, extremely valuable to get that in there, just because it could quite literally just save the run, right? Getting a whole extra turn of attacks, and especially with this team with the follow-up attacks and Venturin getting these stacks, because he doesn't do a ton of damage, but that damage will rack up over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Like you see, he literally just activated it again. It just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going, and the damage adds up so much. And you really just need every little bit of damage to get this done. Hoolay is a very, very fun boss, in my opinion. Obviously, a lot of people are very frustrated with him, which is completely fair. I just wish his weaknesses were a little different, or maybe just change the first two enemies to something else, and then maybe it'd be a bit more manageable. I'll have to see if I have time to build up Clara at all, because this one will be around for a bit. I do plan on summoning for Rappa and probably doing a few runs with her. But I want to get Clara up a little bit more and see if she can't cook. As you can see, we did it in 20 cycles. A bit rough, but I mean, that's just how it is, right? Hopefully that wasn't too loud. Grab my water. Very, very thirsty talking for this long, I'm not gonna lie. All right, and as you see here, these are the choices I have. As you see, Asa could use a little bit more. She's rocking the Super Break set. E6, most, if not, I actually know every 4-star but Mo's is E6. And then I show the rolls as well. I don't think I actually showed what they rolled into, so that is unfortunate, but this is what I'm rocking. Nothing too crazy, I like to think. I don't think I have like there's so many people who are just like, oh, I have 4 rolls in crit rate, or 4 rolls in crit damage, or like 4 rolls in speed, or like 2 in crit rate, 2 in crit damage, like these crazy stuff. I have good relics, but a lot of it is nothing crazy. Like it's just a couple rolls into what they want, and then like a HP stat and like an effect res, and it's like, all right, cool, you know. So hopefully my relics are somewhat realistic for you guys. That is another downside. If you don't have the best relics, then it's going to be even worse for you to try to do this with a free to play esque like slash budget team. Um, One thing with Harmony MC, I did want to try and run the Super Break set on him, the Firefly one. However, I don't think I could get Ruin May ult off enough to always have the extra break effect from the 4-piece, so I just opted to keep him as he was, since he was going to be ulting a lot, we have more break effect, which just means more damage. Now, with this video, I do try to keep the light cones relatively free to play or 4 stars. However, unfortunately, I couldn't get it to work with Ratio. He just needed the from his light cone, so I do apologize for that. That is probably one of the least budget things I've ever done. I just needed it, bro. The team works if you have like E1 Robin or just better relics than I do or better luck than I do, then you could probably still clear it, especially if you substitute Asa for like if you actually have Firefly. Another non-ish free to play thing I have is I think I have Robin Lycon on. I did forget to switch that. I do apologize. I didn't notice it until after the run, and I was like, oh crap. But I was already too deep. I was like, screw it, I'll post it anyway. It is what it is. And then I do have Jeopard's Lycon. I highly recommend. Oh, and I guess E1, right? Which is pretty helpful, I will say. It does give you extra crit damage. However, I do fully think you could still clear it with E0 Venturing. That's just how good he is, right? Hoolay attacks you so much, you're still going to be doing a bunch of damage. Reapplying the shield with his ultimate is pretty helpful, but realistically, you're going to have a bunch of shield from just countering anyway. So it's really just the crit damage that matters. But like I said, that could be substituted by just having better relics than me, or maybe having dupes in other characters, like having an E6 Most so he can pick up the damage loss, or having E1 Robin. I know a lot of people actually went for E1 Robin. I was not one of those people. But other than that, yeah, that is going to be the first 2 teams. Anyway, oh yeah, really quickly, Jeopard's Light Cone. I highly recommend you grabbing it from the shop if you can. Very strong light cone, and it technically is free to play because you can buy it. A lot of people like to just go for the summons, which, you know, I don't blame you, but I highly recommend if you don't have Jeopard's Light Cone, go for it. As you can see, I messed up there, and I forgot to rob the seal before I attacked with March. Funny little mistake. This is going to be not break Himiko. This is normal crit rate, crit damage Himiko. Pretty much just focusing on March and Himiko doing the damage, and then Robin kind of picking up the slack here. Normally, I wouldn't like to run 3 5-stars, especially 2 premium, 1 standard, but like I said, the 4-star healers, we need a new one so badly. That's really good. I'm not saying Lynx is terrible and unusable, but I just couldn't get my Lynx to work. My Lynx is built pretty decently. She most of the time just steals whatever Ho-Ho has in terms of relics, but the Dot only be able to cleanse on her ult, Natasha only having a cleanse on her skill, the heals not being nearly as strong, them not offering support. It was just too much. I had to cave, right? You could probably substitute Ho-Ho for Venturine or Fushuan. I almost forgot the name. Hopefully the next healer that we get. Actually, no, I don't want to say that. We actually do need a preservation 4-star. I'm not gonna lie, we really do. We really do need a shielder. Like a mini adventurer would be kind of sick for a 4-star shielder. But hopefully we do end up getting a new 5-star sustain at some point. Not saying we need one, but just having more options for more people is very nice. Because I notice a lot of people, it's like the opposite of FOMO. It's like, oh, if they have a rerun already, why would I summon for them? Why don't I just wait until a new character replaces them and summon for them, because they would last longer in the meta most of the time, right? Which I completely understand, right? But just not having a sustain is so rough, right? Luckily, Gallagher is absolutely cracked, so I just use him most of the time for the second team or the first team. But yeah, really like using Ho-Ho here. She is very cool. And she actually does keep you alive during Hoolay. Shout out to her. Absolute queen. But yeah, March absolutely, oh my gosh, so happy. One of my favorite units of all time. She's so strong. Not saying Himiko isn't cooking here, but March absolutely shredding these guys. Well, shredding in a sense, right? Obviously, we're not one banging anybody, but she is putting in the work. Also with Himiko, I ain't gonna lie, I think she is the best standard banner character at the moment. I'm kind of biased because I really like using Bronya. However, my Bronya is E3 at this point, and getting the 50-50 skill point thing, and then plus giving the extra speed, isn't a normal thing she has. So I kind of have to look at her without those. I do think Himiko is just the best standard banner character, which is crazy because when she released, she was kind of the worst one. Right, like Yanqing at least could freeze enemies, and that was a big thing for MOC back in the day because not everyone was strong enough to just brute force it. But yeah, glow up from Himiko, very very good character. A lot of people say she's only able to cook and break teams or super break teams, but I think she still works in follow up. As you can see from this one, we do get a gun. Otherwise, I wouldn't be showing you it. But yeah, no, very, very good character. I do wish that they sort of gave her a buff and reworked her follow-up to where she could overcap. That would be pretty nice, because once she hits 3, if you break anyone else, GG. It's stuck at 3, it's whatever. Now, other characters do overcap, right? It's like March overcaps, Venturin overcaps, Jue overcaps. I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure by too much because I haven't used her in a while. But even if it was just 6 or 5 or something, it would be so nice. So nice if she did that. But I mean, hey, we have to deal with it. It is what it is. As you can see, she also has a weird thing where she breaks someone's follow-up. You have to attack again. Luckily, that doesn't screw me over at all, but I could definitely see someone losing because Himiko follows up, breaks, and then has to follow up again, and then it doesn't go off, and then you lose a cycle, and then you eventually just don't have a fast enough clear. Hopefully that doesn't happen to you guys, but I could totally see it being a thing, and I don't think it's happened to me, but I've definitely had like weird interactions with it to where unfortunately I don't kill an enemy because I have to attack again, and of course it's a character I don't want to attack with because they can do a bunch of damage. But it is what it is. Maybe eventually they might fix that. I highly doubt it, but there is some weird funny interactions with characters that have follow-ups like Himiko's. But as you can see, March also being imaginary here is super helpful. This team was just made for Super Break, right? Being an imaginary or fire fighting these guys is just such an easy time. This attack, though. Funny enough, it didn't hit too hard, but a lot of times that attack into something like this, into another attack, would be like GG for me, and I'd have to restart. I think at one run I have recorded, I don't have it in this video, but Himiko was the target of all those attacks, and then we had Dot, and Himiko was in the action order, like, it was like 3 or 4 ahead of Woho, and when it became Himiko's action, she ended up dying from the Dot. It was so sad. I had such a good run going too, but obviously we restarted and we had this one. But that is something that can happen, unfortunately, especially if you're running someone like Lynx who can't instantly get rid of debuffs. You're gonna be in for a rough time if you can't just shut these guys down, so keep that in mind as well. But yeah, not too much else to talk about for this one in particular right here. So how are your guys' day going? Like I said, this video is kind of damn long, I'm not gonna lie. Also shout out to holding on to the Robin ult here to get one attack in with Woho so I can get some more skill points. Not really super relevant right now for this team, but that is a nice thing to do. Most of the time I end up just popping it, which is unfortunate because I'm like, oh damn, I could have got a skill point there, you know, but I don't know, just something to comment on. I really don't know what to talk about for the rest of this run. Mostly because it's the same old, over and over. Alright, boom. Awesome. Now we can talk about the other team. Now, this team, I feel like I'm either going to get shit for this team, or I'm going to get shit for the other team, having Aventurian, Robin, and Ratio's Light Cone. This technically isn't a budget team, and it technically is at the same time because you have Gallagher, who's been free multiple times. He's been on, what, 2 banners so far. Very good unit. You have Harmony MC completely free. You have Ruin May, who does not have any dupes, no signature. And then you have Firefly, who has the free light code. Mine is S1, unfortunately, because I really do like the whole not using skill points. You can still completely clear this. Funny enough, when you get to the relics, you're gonna see what I did to sort of remedy it. I didn't mean to do this originally, but when I noticed it, I said that's fine because her E1 gives her a 15% damage reduction. Now, I'm pretty sure that's still gonna equal more damage than normal based off the set I do have on her, but I'm gonna need something to remedy it, right? I wish you could turn off dupes. That'd be extremely helpful for the characters I do have dupes in. Like for Akron, I can never use Akron, even though she's probably. Is she the most like had character or most obtained character for a 5-star DPS? I want to assume she is, but I'm not too sure. Maybe after a rerun, she'll 100% be. But I can't use her because she's E2, and that's just like super unrealistic to. I get too much damage off. I do get too much crit rate. It's just too much of a damage jump from E0 to justify using it in a budget team. I could definitely run like Acheron and then like like a Paylug with Knifin and then maybe like a Hoolay or Gallagher and use that, and that could be a budget team. But since I have 2 dupes in her, it just doesn't work like that. Unfortunately, I don't think it's budget enough, so I don't run it. But if I could turn off dupes, I would definitely run an Acheron team. I do know that Acheron is pretty good on the first cycle from what I've seen. I haven't used her yet, but she is pretty helpful. So if you do have Acheron, maybe try Acheron out on the first cycle and try to use Super Break on this one. Yeah, just hopefully next time we have a better buff than Break, because it is pretty rough. Like Hoolay, he has so much speed. I think he's the fastest enemy in the game. He has like an absurd amount of speed. Luckily, having Ruin May on the team is so nice, because not only is she giving speed as well to you, but she's also re-breaking the enemy. As you see, Hoolay tried to get up there and then he couldn't. Also, look how much damage that did. That did such an absurd amount of damage. And if you aren't able to run a team that can weakness break him, whether it be, funny enough, Firefly and Boot Hill are, their implanting is useless because it's actually weak to physical and fire. So you'd have to run like Blade, Sampo, Donheng, right? And if you do weakness break him, you do so much damage with that. So having a team that is budget, that is also corresponding with his weakness is so rough. But losing on the buff is so rough. It's just, I went insane trying to do this. It took, I think, let's see, I woke up. I did this all in one day, thankfully. Actually, I didn't. I lied. I did like 2 to 3 hours of testing teams, and then I went to sleep, woke up, and then I did it for most of the day. Pretty much I did like the gacha rotation of like wake up, shower, all that stuff. While I'm brushing my teeth, I'll do like Star Roll stamina because I can hit auto and like do other stuff. And then once I am done brushing my teeth, if I'm hungry, well, obviously I wait a bit, right? I just like brushing my teeth right when I wake up because it just feels gross to not, you know. Let me know what you think about that in the comments, y'all. Do you brush your teeth right when you wake up, or do you brush your teeth after you eat your food? I'm not trying to start a civil war, but I know people who do both, and I do both depending on how hungry I am, right? But anyway, brush your teeth, yada yada, start off stamina, and then maybe I'll get food, or maybe I'll just like hop on and do gacha days on another game, whether it be like Genshin or ZZZ, because I'm playing all 3. Because Rappa's kind of dead. I ain't gonna lie. Well, we'll see. She doesn't seem to be super exciting. Also, shout out to the achievement I got right there. I think that was because he didn't have any of his allies on the team. So shout out to the 5 primos I got, or 10, I think. I think it's 5, right? But anyway, yeah, no, Rappa is looking to be a bit rough of a patch. So I've been playing ZZ and Genshin. I believe the Bernice video is already up right now. Shout out to Bernice. I don't think it's doing too hot, unfortunately. But I mean, hey, testing new stuff. We're seeing how it goes. The Genshin video did decent, so I thought maybe that this one would do pretty decent because she's pretty popular. But regardless, do the gacha rotation, and then after I did some laundry and whatnot, hop back on, and it was like up until the sunset is how many teams I ran. It was so also shout out to Firefly having like 1 HP here because of the attack. I actually was so nervous that she was gonna die here, but luckily she doesn't. And then I break him and I was like, oh, he's gonna action. I thought that was an action advance, but it's just summon. Oh, thank the Lord. Thank the Lord, because I know they would have attacked Firefly. And then thankfully, since we get the action advance and attack, we do heal Firefly a bit. She didn't even get hit, but yeah, like I said, I did get pretty lucky with not dying on this one. This is crazy damage from Mr. Hoolay himself. But as you can see, we are clearing this pretty quickly. We do get another very close to not clearing, which, you know, just goes to show how rough this one is. Like, this is the Firefly team, and they take a minute to actually kill this guy. He has so much HP. He's definitely going to be the hardest enemy in MOC for quite a bit. We're probably going to get harder enemies going forward, but that is a 20 cycle. And then, of course, we are going to show the relics. Gotta love how every Hoyo game says something different. But we're going to show them in a second. I'm going to grab yet another drink of water, so I'm signing out for a second. Alrighty, we are back. As you can see, we are rocking the free Herda shop light cone. If you have like Jing Yens, obviously use that instead. That's very situational, but it is really good. Of course, March, we are running the Root Arena basic attack set. I don't know why I circled it. Probably because I ran March already. Actually, no, I didn't run March already. I don't know why I circled that. Weird. Maybe I was talking to a friend at the time because I think I was screen sharing this. We are running the Herder Shop Lycone. We are running Robin's Lycone again. I just forgot to switch it. It is what it is. You can probably just run the free event one. It's not going to be as good, but it is a good alternative. And then we're just rocking pretty much everything that gives attack. I just pretty much want my Robin to be doing as much damage as possible with the attack scaling she's got. And then, you know, Hoho is just running the 4-piece healing to get the extra skill point at the start. Mostly because you just want to spam skill points as much as possible with her to get her ult as fast as possible. And yeah, that's pretty much it with good old Hoho. We are running the Hate over here, like kind of level 50. I actually didn't think I was running this. I thought I was running Quick Quid Pro. But I mean, hey, this works too. It's free in the Herder shop rather soon with the Rappa update, and this MOC will be out. So if you do end up having to wait, there's that. As you can see, I'm running Glameth. Now the reason I'm running Glameth is because I actually just straight up thought it was the normal set when I was looking at it. But I mean, hey, the damage, you know, difference, you know, I guess would help with the E1. Probably not, but yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm running the wrong set. What the heck? I don't know if I switched in this. Maybe I switch it afterwards, but I did think it was funny that I was rocking the wrong one. I was putting it on Asta originally because I wasn't using Firefly. But yeah, Glameth, maybe that'll lower the damage a bit. Someone will probably run the calcs on what the difference is. Hopefully it's not too much, right? Since E1 Firefly does increase damage. I forgot what I'm doing here. I think I'm talking to a friend at the moment about like how this works because they don't play Sorrow. But yeah, good old Glameth. And then, I was like, hello, did I show the Eidolons for Firefly? Yeah, I do. Yeah, E1. Yeah, and then she's rocking the same set. I do show them again just because I didn't know what team I was going to post first. But same old relics on Ruin May and Harmony MC. And then Gallagher's also rocking his same set. Shout out to Dance. Like I said, very, very strong one. I highly recommend grabbing it. But other than that, that's pretty much going to be it for the video. Don't have too much longer before the video ends. So let me know if these teams helped you out at all, what teams you ended up using, what characters you ended up substituting. Like I said, if you have Boot Hill or Yun Li, that'll help intensely with the first and second wave, especially the second wave for Boot Hill and Yun Li. You can run you know, Himiko, Firefly as well. If you don't have Ruin May, they work out pretty well. But that'll pretty much be it for the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.